You can see on this side, there's a lot of folks who just don't get how we come to these hearings and hear folks try and repeal the law of supply and demand. We hear folks who normally talk about favoring exports, trying to create enormous programs so that Americans can manufacture here at low cost, fight low-cost energy sources for our manufacturing companies. And you see folks on this committee who are arguing about all these Chinese imports they don't like, and we can't compete around the world, and we can't export, arguing we shouldn't export. It is a stunning thing for those of us on this side to listen to. I want to talk a little bit about this notion of speculation, Mr. McNally. Every time, I'll keep this simple. Anytime somebody goes long in a particular commodity, who's on the other side? There's someone with an equal and opposite position.
For every buyer, there is a seller.
So for every trade that there's a winner, there must be a loser. And so we come and have these hearings and we hear about speculation when the price of commodities go up, but I have seldom witnessed, I'm new, so I would not have been part of this before, but I have seldom seen these hearings when the price goes down. Would there be equal speculation about folks trying to drive prices lower as well? I'm confused about why speculation is a one-way ratchet, according to at least some who've testified here today.
I think the American public and members of Congress are more concerned about rising prices, so they're more concerned when the prices are going up and people are buying, and they less concerned when it's selling. So the financial market participants don't get the credit when they're contributing to downward price movement or helping prices peak and when they've been rising into turn. But we don't have to take it from me. The IEA, the CFTC, the EIA, officials at unbiased regulatory agencies with the access to the information who have looked at this closely have concluded that financial market participants have not been distorting the price of oil.
I appreciate that. And Mr. Gerard, I want to ask you your experience in this as well. Natural gas, $2.50 an MCF, was 14, driven by speculation?
Well, what's happened, Congressman, as you well know, in this country, because on state and private lands we're producing trillions of cubic feet of natural gas, there's been recent announcements by a number of major manufacturers who are going to bring jobs right back here to the United States because the market has driven the price of natural gas down to where it's affordable, it's reliable, and if we're allowed to produce it in this country, it has multiple implications for us: job creation, revenue to governments, and energy security.
So supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
$2.50, not some bogeyman on Wall Street.
In fact, yes, Congressman, if I can, I don't want to take your time, but there's an experience we have in July of 2008 that was alluded to earlier that we ought to go back and look closely at. The price of crude oil drove to $145 a barrel. Then President Bush announced the opening of the Outer Continental Shelf and lifted the moratorium. The price of crude oil over 3 days dropped $15 a barrel and continued to move down. Markets are driven on a global basis by expectation. If the market heard the President of the United States say, I'm serious about producing my vast energy resources, you will see an impact in the market.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would love to see that from our president. Let me talk for a second, Mr. McNally. You talked a little bit about the strategic petroleum release. We had one during my time in Congress last year. To what effect?
The release you're referring to is a sale of 30 million barrels announced on June 23rd of 2001, and the price of oil dipped for 4 days and then made a new high.
And the president continues to talk about an additional release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. What would your expectation be that would result from such a release?
In my view, as long as the underlying supply-demand fundamentals remain tight, and as long as the prospect of a potential conflict remains with Iran, were we to release oil now and achieve a day or two dip in supply, we would be releasing cheap oil to traders who would buy it and expect to profit from it later this year.
Great. Not a very effective thing for folks who are driving their cars around, or Mr. Milburn, who's got to drive his vehicle around and deliver product to all consumers all across the country.